Despite the sprawl of LA and the fact that it was redesigned for the car, it's still a place that doesn't necessarily give a lot of options of where to be. Being in the San Fernando Valley, you're in a landscape that is suburban and urban. It is half of Los Angeles, but you're told that it's not Los Angeles at all. It doesn't live in the LA imaginary on a global level, yet is the backdrop to so much of what we understand Los Angeles to be. The first image I ever made at the median was of Krista and Phoenix, because that neighborhood, that street, I always wanted to come back to. It was a neighborhood that I used to live in with my mom and my grandma and my brothers and my whole family, really. I always wanted to go back, but we don't really have access to that old apartment anymore. I was talking to my cousin, and she told me a story about when she was little. She went outside and started playing in the median on this big street. And my aunt couldn't find her. And she goes and sees outside and says that she's playing in the median, you know? And so it's interesting how a child read that as like a place where you could play and just be and use. And I was really interested in how my body felt in that space, the uncomfortableness of it, the tension that you could feel, the hypervisibility that you're feeling, the ways that you're kind of trying to come across as more comfortable than you really are, and then while also being able to direct some of that disoriented energy into just making photography, which can be really meditative. Coming to Los Angeles, making a place for yourself is something that I've learned as like a personal practice. Watching my grandmother do it, watching my mother do it, everybody has expressed or shown some strategy as to homemaking and making home out of a new place. And so that's kind of been embedded also in like how I think my artistic practices, which is this constant like trying to like fit into some kind of space that isn't really designed for your body. I had already kind of spent a lot of years with the documentary practice. Through the documentary practice, I was always used to like relating to people socially and connecting to strangers and kind of like using the camera as a way to build connection. It did require a lot of you putting yourself in a very risky and vulnerable situations. And so I think the way that I made photos, I didn't want to ever feel super comfortable when I'm making photographs. Like I think part of what drives me is like the experimentation and the putting myself on the line in some way. When I started doing like, for example, like the breathing exterior work, I was thinking about how like a landscape image just wouldn't feel like enough for me to really convey what that place means. So I thought about, I'll just put family archives in these spaces, but I wanted to do it in a more tactile manner. Then the work starts to treat a line between installation and documentation and landscape and portraiture, because it's like you're taking pictures of people that are in banners that are in a landscape, and like there's just many things happening at once. As I've been doing more with the C-stands and drapery and curtains, it's more about thinking about creating frames within frames. So like doing landscapes, but like also within the landscape using these like C-stands and other kinds of framing that kind of frames a vantage point the way like maybe a stage would or a bedroom window would. Bring it out of just the landscape element and more into like this is my view, and from my view how I'm seeing it. You're creating like a space that we can look into, but also like maybe possibly see ourselves, imagine something more, Already it's something that is not normal to see because of the staging. So there's something performative about it, but that performativeness and that staging is very much about trying to propel something into the future, like seeing something that isn't and bringing it into existence because it wasn't previously. The staging also becomes a way to imagine something more or see something more or reach for something more than what already is. I'm just trying to have a better view of the places that have shaped me and that I feel akin to and connected to and inseparable to.